welcome to the second installment of the UX files. I am Bailey Costello, Exago's user experience designer. Today, I would like to talk about interaction design. What I mean by that is when you click, when you drag, when you scroll, anything that really means you're interacting with the interface. So Exago uses a lot of drag and drop. It's really convenient for building reports. It's kind of an expectation that we have from our users to learn that a lot of Exago is draggable. However, we were finding for one particular area in our application, being in the dashboards designer, that one object people were thinking was a click rather than a drag. So it's kind of hard with interaction design for things like drag and hover because it's kind of invisible. So take a hover, for example. The UX community doesn't really suggest using a hover for something because you don't really know that something will happen by hovering until you actually hover over it. Now, drag and drop is almost another step more complicated or difficult to get that message across, because at least with a hover, if you think you should go and click on that thing, you have to hover on it in order to click on it as well. But for dragging, you really have to make a very deliberate action. So that's kind of the UX challenge that we're dealing with. These invisible interactions are difficult to communicate. We've tried to communicate this in a couple of different ways for this drag option in Exago, and what I'm talking about is this new tile button here. So we've always had drag and drop a new tile here, but we went ahead and added a little kind of grip icon, and that is supposed to show a little bit of texture, as in, right, I can go and grab this and move it as I need. We tried out these additional clues, but we found that people weren't really paying attention to them. As in, this thing was so intuitive that it should be a click that people got the tunnel vision and, went and clicked on it. And in fact, they would click on it over and over multiple times. So the way that we went about solving this is by allowing both. You can always drag it. You always have been able to add a tile. But now we have included a clickable option where it comes up with a menu. Now there's one other thing to note here, in that we can't fully get rid of the drag. And that's because when you're using the drag, it's really dependent on how you are going to place your tile onto the canvas. So we couldn't fully get rid of the drag and go with a solid click where it seems intuitive to people. But what we were able to do is get people a little bit closer to their end goal. So when they do click on it, you're one step closer to adding a tile to your canvas. So designers, I'm especially curious about your own adventures in designing for different interactions, especially these more invisible, hidden ones like drag and drop and hover. Everyone else, I'm really curious what your thoughts are on this iteration of the UX files. What are your thoughts? And thank you for watching.